Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Today's main story is a continuation of sorts to yesterday's video. Yesterday was about Mary, the sister-in-law who tried to kiss OP. Today is about the in-laws who OP's wife was able to go no contact. Now let's get started with today's story. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user Throwaway Wife Sister. In-laws, 60 female, 79 male, are begging for forgiveness. Should my wife, 35 female, and I, 38 male, keep the door closed? Hello everyone, I have come here for advice before and you were all incredibly helpful, and I could really use some support again. Last year, my wife Jenna and I had to make the decision to go no contact with her whole family. Her sister Mary, 30 female, sexually assaulted me, the in-laws defended her, and after some legal wrangling, they finally left us alone. The situation wrecked my wife's self-esteem and tested our relationship, but we made it through. Jenna and I had our first daughter in February. She's amazing and we're doing great. We ended up moving away from Jenna's home state, New York, to mine, Massachusetts, to be closer to my family. And they've been incredibly helpful with the baby. We have not seen Jenna's family since cutting contact and blocking them everywhere, and we didn't tell them about the baby. But yesterday, we received a letter in the mail from my mother-in-law and father-in-law. No idea how they got our address. Apparently, my father-in-law has been diagnosed with late-stage cancer and is being told he could be dead in weeks. In-laws went on about how sorry they were for the way they handled the situation with Mary. They also apologized for the way they've treated my wife her whole life. They ended by saying they recently heard about the baby through the grapevine and want to meet their grandchild. To me, the apology seemed genuine. They went into detail on what they did wrong, apologized and expressed remorse, and explained what they should have done differently. They said they hoped to earn our forgiveness with time and were willing to do family therapy to heal our relationship. Jenna is not having it. She feels like it's too little too late and doesn't want to respond. She also suspects that they're lying about father-in-law's cancer and just want to pressure us into reconciliation so they can meet the baby. It seems ludicrous, but I guess I wouldn't put it past them. I want to respect my wife's feelings around this, but I'm worried that if the cancer is real, she may regret not taking this opportunity for reconciliation before he dies. I expressed this to her, but she is adamant and I haven't broached the topic since. My instinct is to wait a few more days until the shock wears off to talk about it again. I just don't know what the best way to approach it would be. I certainly don't want to force my wife to do anything she doesn't want to do. But I feel like she's not thinking clearly about this right now. It also must be noted that our baby is still struggling with sleep and we're both tired and emotional all the time. So I feel like this might be influencing how she feels about all this. What should I do here? Should I try or just let it be? Well, OP, if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't try to force this. Your wife knows her parents and she's over them. Now, if she wants to try to reconciliate, that's her decision. You already spoke to her about it. I would not push it anymore because this is definitely something she doesn't want to do. She just got a letter that is telling her that her father has just weeks to live and she still refuses to see them. That should tell you enough about how much she actually wants to do this or not. Now, having said that, I do think your wife is right. This doesn't add up. They tell you in the letter that your father-in-law has just weeks to live, but he's got enough time to go to family therapy to set things straight. I'm not a doctor or anything even close to that, but I would believe that somebody with terminal cancer who's just got weeks to live would be in so much pain that spending time in family therapy wouldn't even be an option. Also, if they want to show they're truthful and they are worthy of your trust, then they would send you all the proof that you need to know that your father-in-law does, in fact, have just a few weeks to live. But in any case, OP, this is your wife's decision. I would drop it. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? What would you do if you were in his shoes? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Creepy Document 2764 says, the timing is a little too convenient. You just had a baby and suddenly father-in-law has cancer and they want to apologize for everything they've done wrong? I would agree with your wife that it's likely BS. If it isn't though, and they are genuinely sorry, who cares? Them showing remorse doesn't change all the things they have done to your wife over the years. Even if she can accept their apology, it doesn't mean they automatically get to be in her life again. This isn't your decision to make, and it seems like your wife has made her decision on it. I'd drop it. Cassanthrax says, I was summoned to the deathbed of an estranged parent, but I did not go. I had already grieved that relationship years before, and I didn't see any point in reopening all wounds just for his comfort. He had already been dead to me, and I was okay with that. Years later, I still don't regret my choice to stay home. I would not have benefited in any way from attending. Your wife has already lived this. She knows better than anyone what her parents are like. Just support her and don't judge if she has no regret at all. She's had a lifetime to deal with these people and has walked away. All her mourning and regrets may already be finished and done. And Cultural Shape 3518 says, stop second guessing your wife. She has a lifetime of her family's behavior to judge not only this reconciliation attempt against, but whether she'll regret not acting on it. Especially when she already presumably took into account how it would feel to never speak to them again, no matter what happened when she went no contact in the first place, and decided that was still the right call. If anything, being a parent herself now may have strengthened her resolve that she's never letting people gain any kind of foothold into her child's life, which I frankly agree with her probably has more to do with why they've reached out than any sincere remorse. Trust that she can work through any later regrets with a therapist if needed and leave her be. Additional information from OP's comments. To be clear, I will absolutely respect whatever decision she makes. I would never make my wife or child meet with them without my wife's consent. I would never betray her like that. I've never gone behind her back and never will. We make decisions as a team, and this is her call. I don't personally care if we never see them again. It isn't about me. I came here for advice on how to support my wife and hold space for her to talk about it. All I care about is her being okay. I just feel like the news is so fresh and we're in such an emotional complex place as it is that she may not be thinking clearly about it. A similar situation happened to a friend of mine and he regretted it for years. He actually turned to alcohol pretty hard for a while after. My wife has worked really hard to improve her mental health and I worry about how the regret might set her back. Although I suppose if her family is actually lying or manipulating us, that would set her back too. I just don't know. Maybe it's not about asking her if she feels differently, so much as giving her space to talk about her feelings around it some more. But maybe it's better to let her do that with her therapist first, and just let her know I'm here to listen and think through stuff if she wants to talk about it more. I've also thought about asking my parents to take the baby for a couple of days so we can get away and recharge. Maybe just getting my wife in a better headspace would allow her to think things through more carefully, less reactively. People, stop being mean to me. I too am tired and emotional and my feelings are getting hurt. I am not forcing my wife to do anything. I brought it up one time. I know this is not about me. I don't personally care either way, I just want to support my wife. I intend to tell her I am here to listen and to talk about it if she wants to, but I fully support her decisions around this. She has a great therapist she trusts, and I'll be here to support her however I can. Okay, so the community was pretty straightforward in telling OP to not do anything and just let her wife make her own decisions regarding this. And that's what OP says he wants to do, but he also wants to let her know that he's there for her. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Hi everyone, thanks for the comments on my last post. They were really helpful. Some were a little mean, but Reddit is what it is. Things have taken a disappointing turn, but we have some answers and we're working through it. First, my wife was right. The cancer story was BS. They were just trying to manipulate us. The same night I wrote my last post, I just let my wife know that I was here to listen if she wanted to talk about any of it, but that I would always support her no matter what she decided. She thanked me and I didn't bring it up again. She had her therapy session and afterwards she said she wanted to talk. She said she wanted to get more information before making any decisions. She reached out to a trusted mutual connection and asked them to discreetly find out if the cancer was real. They reported back to say my father-in-law appeared healthy. My in-laws are apparently planning a European vacation for August and they're telling people we are going with them. Our connection was also able to confirm Mary is supposed to go on this trip along with her new boyfriend, much older rich finance guy. Shocker! They also told us that my in-laws have not told anyone about what happened with me and Mary last year. They just told people we moved away for work. Obviously, at this point, any possibility of reconciliation was gone. I don't think I've ever seen Jenna angrier than when we found all of this out. Just the utter gall of them lying about something like terminal cancer to manipulate my wife into forgiveness. I'm still amazed they would stoop so low, but it was eye-opening to see comments on my last post talking about how common it is. They even call it Christmas cancer. Some people just have no shame. Jenna decided to write a letter this weekend explaining that she knew they were lying about everything. She told them that they and Mary are essentially already dead to her. She's processed that grief and recommends they do the same. She also said that if they try to reach out again, the next letter they receive will be from a lawyer. She told me that writing the letter was healing for her, so that's one small thing to be grateful for. We were left wondering who told them about the baby or gave them our address. I'm sure the address is not hard to find with public records, but we have been so careful about the baby. The connection we reached out to didn't even know about her until Jenna called. We like or trust them, just didn't want to take any chances of it getting back. We went over for dinner at my parents' place a couple of days ago, and Jenna started telling them about what happened. I noticed my mother averting eye contact and my heart sank into my stomach. I asked her if she had been the one to contact them, and she just started bawling, saying she couldn't imagine never knowing her own grandchildren and just wanted us to heal and be a family together. My dad had no idea she had reached out and was shocked and disappointed in her as well. I went absolutely ballistic while Jenna sort of shut down and got this blank look on her face. I can't remember half of the things I said, but I ended by saying she would now know what it's like to have no access to her granddaughter, just like my in-laws. We've let my dad know that he will be welcome to come see the baby on his own, but we want space from everybody for a little while. He understands. Then we took the baby and left right away. We ignored calls and texts from them and eventually my siblings. So now we're both feeling betrayed and heartbroken. Never in a million years did I think my mother would violate our trust like that. We're so close. She loves Jenna and the baby so much. My family knows exactly what happened with the in-laws. She can't claim ignorance. Obviously, we're taking a lot of space from them, but funnily enough, Jenna is advocating for us to not be too hasty in cutting them off. She feels like my mom was not acting maliciously and is open to giving her a second chance, especially given she's been nothing but supportive of me and my wife until this. Somewhere down there, I know she's right, but it's too fresh and I'm still so angry. We've asked for space from my family and they've been respectful about it. We'll take the weekend to cool down before we figure out our next steps together. Thankfully, we have this cute little chubby grub in our house that giggles and makes silly sounds, so it's hard to stay super upset in your head about anything for too long. I know it's going to be a hard road rebuilding trust with my mom, but I feel somewhat hopeful that things will be okay in the long run. Thanks again for your help. Well, OP, at least now you are definitely certain that your in-laws and your sister-in-law, they're all scum and you can just be rid of them altogether. Your wife already has, so you don't need to worry about that anymore. And regarding your mom, well, yeah, that's something that you and your wife need to talk about how you go about it. It could be that you just need a timeout from your mom, and after a sincere apology from her, you can start rebuilding trust again. But the fact is that she did break your trust, regardless of what her intentions were. But with all the work that you guys have already done together, I don't think it's going to take you guys too long to talk about it and come to common ground. So on that note, here's wishing you the best in the future. Thanks for sharing, OP, and take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Cat on Duty. Boss pays a lot for his fancy plans. This story happened around 15 years ago and English is my second language. I had just quit my BA in economics, it just wasn't right for me, and quickly needed a job while figuring out what to do while paying my bills. I found one in a call center. This call center was a subcontractor for big companies. In my case, it was the second biggest telecommunications company in the country, and they partially outsourced first and second level support for DirecTV, internet, and phone services to the company I worked for. The job was okay, not very demanding, hilarious interactions with customers, and nice coworkers. But I soon discovered that management was just a bunch of inflated egos with glorious ideas, but no talent. So after about a year, I was promoted to supervisor, just a flashy title for solving the crappy cases, no pay raise or other benefits. Apparently, I did a good job because 3 months later, I got called into the office by the management team. Their plan was to form a training team and they wanted me to lead it. At that point, I still didn't know what I wanted to do with my career, so I just said yes. And that's when the crap show started. They gave me a contract with no detailed job description, a fixed salary plus a monthly bonus which I can get by achieving certain milestones every month. When I asked what those milestones were, they just said they will define them every month. Okay, fine by me. As an employee with a fixed salary, I also had to report my hours every month to my assigned manager. Let's call him Frederick. So, here we go. As I said before, they had lots of fancy ideas, but no clue. I asked countless times what their plan was with that training department, what my tasks were, what my milestones are, and I only got some wishy-washy speech about some grand ideas. In the end, I was tasked with all sorts of nonsense, helping out with calls, best paid call center agent ever, designing signs for the center, where to find the toilet for example, and stuff like that. They actually gave me so much nonsense work that I had to work overtime. But fine, I just do it, submit my report at the end of the month and figure out my life. There was just one thing that really pissed me off, the bonus. After the first payment, I noticed that the bonus was missing, so I asked Frederick why. He said that we never defined the milestones, so I did not reach them. I am not stupid and I know my rights. Fact is, he has to give me the milestones. If he does not, then there are none and I'm entitled to the bonus regardless. I could have made a fuss about it right then and there, but I decided to be quiet and just go with his nonsense. But I made sure to forward every important mail about my role, salary, and bonus to my private mail. So this went on for about 6 to 7 months until I had a pretty big accident which kept me in the hospital for 2 weeks and then at home for another 6 weeks. The company had a habit of firing people after such a long absence, which is illegal but hard to prove. So I knew that the moment I came back, I would be fired. Sure enough, the day came, and as soon as I walked through the door with my pretty sign on it, I saw Frederick and the HR lady marching towards me. They escorted me into an office and told me I was fired immediately because they decided to close the training department that never really existed in the first place. In my country, the notice period for both parties is usually 3 months, but it is possible to let someone go effective immediately. That means I still get 3 months' pay, but I am not allowed to work there anymore. I happily signed the notice and they let me go to my office to pack up. Little did they know that I just went to prepare my farewell gift to them. I had already printed out everything, calculated my overtime and the missing bonuses. So 30 minutes later, I called the HR lady into the office and laid it all out. Due to the fact that they let me go immediately, they had to pay me the overtime plus a surcharge and of course all the bonuses plus 3 months salary. All in all, it added up to over $15,000. The only thing the HR lady said was, "We didn't expect you to know the laws." I guess that was a slip up, smiley face. Wow, OP, their comeback was, "We didn't expect you to know the laws." Those are some crappy people, scummy company. Well done in getting out of it and taking the house with you. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.